Well, greetings. My name is Will Schofield. I am the Superintendent of Schools for the Hall County School District, and let me be the first to welcome you as one of my colleagues here in the Hall County School District. I am well aware, as is your Board of Education in this community, that the most important thing that we do in our schools is hire people that are people of character, people that love children, and people who think it is important to take every child wherever they are and help them to reach their God-given gifts, their God-given capacity. So thank you again for being part of the Hall County School District. I want to take just a couple of minutes to talk to you a little bit about our vision. And our vision within the Hall County School District is really quite simple. As a matter of fact, our vision can be summed up in 5 words. I hope you've seen them. If you haven't, I hope you'll go to our website and explore it a little bit. But here's the 5 words: character, competency, rigor for all. Let me start with character. And when we talk about character and being individuals of admirable character within the Hall County School District, sometimes we're misunderstood. We certainly don't mean or expect people to be perfect. My goodness, it's 8:30 in the morning and I've made far too many mistakes already today to expect anybody else to be perfect. But what we do expect people to do is own up to mistakes, that when we fall short and don't meet expectations, to own those shortcomings, to make it better. We expect our teachers and our principals and our superintendent and our assistant superintendents, when a parent calls about the most precious thing in the world to them, and that is their child, you don't always have to agree with a parent, but we do have to call them back. We do have to be in constant dialogue, and we do have to remember that we have been entrusted with the most precious resource that this community has to offer, and that is our boys and girls. We expect to treat each other as colleagues. There ought to be a culture of respect in all that we do. We don't tend to think of some people as more important than others. We treat our custodians, we treat our cafeteria workers, we treat our bus drivers, we treat our assistant superintendents and our teachers in the way that they deserve, and that is part of a team. And again, we're glad that you've become part of this team. Competency. I'm going to spend very little time on competency because, quite frankly, I think it's about all our country has talked about for the last 25 years. Competency is important. We will spend the time that is necessary. We will do what it takes to try to bring our most fragile students up to a minimal level so that they can perform, so that they can read, so that they know mathematics. Indeed, that is one of the important goals, and if you go to our balanced scorecard, I think you'll see that that is reflected in the metrics that we use to judge the success of our system. However, one of the things that I think makes us a little different is that we hold rigor, the concept of deep and meaningful work, to be probably the most important thing that we do in terms of teaching our children. You know, as you look around the world and as you talk about industry captains and you talk about governmental leaders and you ask people, what is it that a young person needs to be able to do to be successful in the next 5 years, the next 10 years, the next 20 years? I have to paraphrase, but the answer always comes back that now more than ever, what this world needs is innovators, creators, and entrepreneurs. When we talk about rigor, we don't simply mean hard, because if you went to Webster's dictionary, the word rigor will say hard. And deep and meaningful work often is hard. But when we talk about rigor, we're talking about what Fred Newman from the University of Wisconsin calls authentic intellectual work. We want our children to consistently be involved in the scientific process, asking that Emersonian question, well, gosh, I don't know, but let's find this thing out. They ought to be involved in the scientific process. The other thing we want our children to do is we want our children to be creators. We don't want them to be regurgitators. Children should not passively be sitting in classrooms as blank slates that we write upon and try to pour information into their heads. Children ought to be creating. They ought to be making the situation in front of them better. We ought to be doing everything we can to create classrooms where children are faced with the real world challenges that face them, and working in groups, how do we make our world just a little bit better? And finally, and this is an area that most schools and most school districts fail in miserably, we have made some progress, but we've got a long way to go. Children in our classrooms ought to be able to see the relevance in what we ask them to do without being told. So authentic intellectual work is what we mean when we talk about the concept of rigor. You know, we value your time, and we know that we're asking teachers to do more than we've ever asked before, and they have less time to do it than they have in the past. And so I appreciate you for being part of our pilot group that is going through these online modules in terms of our new teacher orientation. We welcome your feedback, and please, if you see ways that we can make these modules better, make them more user-friendly, better meet your needs, please talk to your principal about that, and they will get the word to the appropriate individual, and we'll make them even better. Let me leave you with this. In this day and age, you are with us today because you must be the cream of the crop in terms of educators in the state of Georgia. You could have worked anywhere, but you chose to work here in the Hall County School District. And as a father of 3 children who attend the Hall County School District, let me make my commitment to you that we will do all that is within our ability to make this the most fulfilling place to teach that you could find in this entire nation. Welcome to the Hall County School District. Hope you have a great school year. And again, thank you for all that you do and are going to do for our boys and girls.